What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with you, taking an early look at this matchup between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers. And what we're doing here, we're going to start doing this going forward, is taking an early look at a lot of the headliner games, a lot of the games that maybe most people are going to be talking about, the teams that a lot of people talk about as well. And no team gets talked about enough more than the number one team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs, right now. And we're going to be doing this going forward, like I said, for the rest of the college football season. We're going to the purpose of these, just take an early look at the lines, see sort of where we're at, and give at least an early lean towards the game. And then as stuff progresses throughout the week, injuries, different news bits and stuff like that, we'll update as we go along. We're still going to have our normal college football videos being uploaded Friday night. Our college football live show with myself, Mitch, and Ron Romanelli on Thursday afternoon. Our Saturday college football show that goes live with the sauce before the games on Saturday afternoon. So it's still going to have the same normal content, but I also want to just add something in there, sort of take an early look at these games. And, we take a look at this one in Georgia. They managed to get by UAB in their last matchup. They improved to 4-0 on the year, 1-3 against the number, though the Bulldogs are. They were 39.5-point favorites in that game, won 49-21. While the Auburn Tigers 3-1 on the year, 1-3 against the number after falling for the first time this season against Texas A&M, 27-10. I won't lie to you, I was on Texas A&M early in that game. I couldn't pull the trigger because the number kind of got out of hand for me. I liked it a lot around 7.5, but it started to move up to that 9.5 range, and I was really kicking myself that I didn't pull the trigger on it. Mainly because I have not been impressed with Auburn whatsoever this season. You look at Auburn and just sort of what they're getting. They have Peyton Thorne, taking over the main quarterback duties. Robbie Ashford is still there as well as Holden Garner. He's been taking some snaps as well. But the quarterback play for Auburn, like I said, it's been frankly almost non-existent. You had Peyton Thorne. He threw for 141 yards against UMass in the opener, threw for 282 yards against Samford. But outside of that, it's been non-existent. This is an Auburn team that you could argue should have lost to Cal, and that game, granted, was in Cal, but a team like Auburn should not be having close calls against a team like the Cal Golden Bears. I'm sorry, and I'm just, like I said, I have not been impressed at all with Auburn. And then they go to Texas A&M, go to College Station. Frankly, get their teeth kicked in by the Aggies in that one. And now it's not going to get any easier, against the Georgia Bulldogs team that, is still ranked the number one team in the country. And yes, has had, a close call against really their only team that they faced with a pulse in South Carolina. Winning that game 24-14 is 26-point favorites. But let's be realistic. The Georgia Bulldogs are sort of fall in the same boat for me as the Michigan Wolverines. Teams that you go in expecting, and more often than not, I would say pretty much almost every time, get the win when they're supposed to. That's it is what it is. And they lay these big numbers. But Michigan, especially this season, has been doing this thing where they play with their food, and they don't care about blowing teams out of the water. They just worry about getting the job done, being effective, being efficient, and that's about it. Georgia's done the same thing against teams like Ball State, UAB, UT Martin. And then the one time, like I said, they played a team with a pulse in conference. They got by South Carolina, but that game was always going to be tough for Georgia against South Carolina. South Carolina has a tendency to be a thorn in the side of the Georgia Bulldogs. But the thing about Auburn is that while this is a bit of an FCC rivalry, the last few meetings just simply have not been close. Last year's meeting, 42-10 at Samford. The year before that, at Jordan-Hare, 34-10 Georgia. Georgia covered both of those numbers as 27.5 and 14.5-point favorites. Georgia has covered and won the last 6 meetings between these two teams. I don't see any way to get on board with Auburn in this one personally. I get it. Auburn is a home dog. Jordan-Hare can be a tough place to go on the road and win as an opposing team. And like I said, the early results suggest that, hey, from what we've seen, it sounds like laying 14.5 could be crazy with Georgia on the road. But I'm in the same boat where I also know what this Georgia team can do. And I know what I've seen from Auburn as well, and it has not been good. My early look for this game is laying the points with Georgia here. We're going to have to see how the line moves. we may get some extra line value if this line continues to shift towards Auburn. I think the sharp chasers might get crushed in this game. So my early look going to be towards Auburn. Towards Georgia laying the points over Auburn. That's where I'm going to be in this one. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and everybody. Like I said, we're still going to have our normal content here. If you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. And also, make sure that while you're at our YouTube channel, smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. And make sure you got those notification bells on so you can get the newest and freshest content like this video here whenever we upload them to our Pick Dawgz YouTube. Get yourself the most up-to-date and the freshest content. But thank you guys again. Let's crush the books. We'll see you guys soon.